Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, my friends. This is Dylan with Tucson Future Classics, and that is our 2022 Hyundai Kona Electric. That's right, everybody. We've got ourselves another 2022 Hyundai Kona Electric in red. Every time we find a good 2022 Hyundai Kona or Kia Niro, we snap them up. These are the last of the first generations of these, and that means they've got all of the incremental improvements that Hyundai and Kia could put into the platform. This particular one has got just under 46,000 miles on it. Came to us out of Downey, California, just outside of LA there, and looking at the Carfax vehicle history report on this, which I always do looking for maintenance records, I was pretty surprised. The first owner on this one was fastidious. They even went above and beyond with maintenance, doing things like brake fluid flushes and cooling system flushes to make sure that what little there is to be maintained on these was kept up on. They also did the battery management system, the BMS upgrade, in 2023, and the big infotainment update on this that needed to be done was actually just done last month in July of 2026. So, well taken care of. It's even shod in some really, really nice Cooper Adventurers, which lower rolling resistance, good all-season highway tires, match nicely to these EVs. And as far as EVs go, I personally think that this platform is one of the best compact crossover EVs you can get into. They're great all-arounders, and having driven most everything else out there, they're just nice. They're an easy vehicle. This one has got the 64 kilowatt hour battery pack in it, 200 horsepower, 200 foot-pounds of torque on the front-wheel drive motor, and this is built on Hyundai and Kia's 400-volt architecture, meaning these Konas, being the more aerodynamically slippery of the twins, you get 259 miles of range as estimated by the EPA. That's 20 more miles than the Niro. And it all comes down to aerodynamic tweaks. If you need to take this thing on a road trip, it absolutely can. It runs DC fast charging. You'll get 10 to 80 in about 1 hour, which means 180 miles of range gained in that hour, about 3 miles a minute. Plugging it at home overnight, if you can run level 2, 240 volt, it'll go 0 to 100 in 10 hours flat. And if you've only got regular old 110 wall power, these still work great with them, because if you treat it like a cell phone, plug it in when you get home, in your average overnight charge, you'll still gain about 50 miles of range on a 10 to 12 hour overnight charge. But there's a lot to get into on this thing, so we'll get up under the hood, show you some of the final model year improvements for this, inside and out for a drive. Up on the nose of the Kona Electric, right up front here, your charger is on the nose to make it nice and easy when you go to pull in either a garage or a charging station. You don't have to worry about what side is what, just pull straight up. You got your J1772 normal wall plug here, and then your CCS direct current fast charging plug right there on the bottom. Put these little guys back in, pop it shut, and you're good to go. Now up here under the hood, set the prop rod up. There is not a lot to see, but this being a 2022 last of the Gen 1s, they made some pretty significant upgrades. The two most notables are this here, which is the chiller, where it uses the AC to cool coolant to keep your battery pack at its optimal temperature. That has been upgraded from previous model years. And your coolant reservoir here is now a single bottle with Hyundai's newer blue coolant, as opposed to the old dual tank pink coolant system. But other than that, I mean, you can even look under this cover here. There's nothing there. There's everything that makes this car go under that little cover there. That's your inverter and drive unit. Nothing to service. Here's your windshield washer fluid. That one you got to keep topped up. You can keep an eye on the coolant here. Make sure that stays in its acceptable range. Brake fluid's up top. You've got a pretty fresh battery sitting right here. The correct H4 size. It's an AGM. It's actually a Duralast, so somebody spent the money to get the expensive one from AutoZone. And under here, that's your fuse box. There's not a lot going on under here, so not a lot to worry about. Up on the back, it comes right up. Two cool things I want to show you. First, does all the usual stuff, has a nice load floor, has the extra mats and your little tie-down hooks. These seats do, flip this one quick, flip and fold completely flat to buy you a bunch of room, but because this doesn't have a gas tank or exhaust routed underneath, they could take advantage of all that extra room and give you a double false floor. Here's your top layer. Down below is your bottom layer with all your supplies in it. Tow hook, first aid kit, and this guy right here. Oh, this is your cargo mesh net, which was never even installed in the car, so you can keep stuff from rolling around using that. And most incredibly, the original Hyundai 110 volt level 1 wall charger. Those almost never make it to the second owners on these vehicles, so to see that still in there is a really good sign that this is kept up on. But yeah, big hatchback, seats fold, plenty of room, and on the back seats, if you got kiddos, there are top tethers for locking in those big booster seats or child seats. Into the back seat of the Kona here, I want to show you all going behind my own driver's seat to give you a worst case scenario idea. Actually have pretty decent knee room, and as you can see, I'm 6'1", 270 pounds, so I'm not a small dude. I've got good gut room, good knee room, shoulder room, and headroom back here because the roof kicks up just above the backseat passengers. The nice thing about these EVs is they can do some interior packaging tricks because there's no gas drivetrain to take up space. So space optimization in these is on point. Now, they do have the latch child seat hooks on the bottom of both seats. You've got your obligatory cup holder armrest here in the middle, and the passenger rear seat gets their own little mesh storage basket. Other than that, not a lot back here, but comfortable cloth seats and a little bit of storage for your backseat passengers. A surprising amount of comfort though, and in that door pocket, there is a cutout specifically to fit a water bottle right in there. So, you know, they definitely make the most of the space that they have. Climbing into the captain's seat of the Hyundai Kona EV. Already got the AC running to keep me comfy, but a fun point, down here you have a big water bottle cut out for driver and passenger too, and that can even swallow a big Yeti bottle, which is quite nice, especially here in the desert where having a lot of water on hand is less of a luxury and more of a necessity. Here on the door though, you've got your power windows, your power mirrors up top, power door locks in the middle, and the window lockout is right there. On this little panel here, this is your dimmer switch for your gauge cluster. That controls the lockout for your battery charger, slaving its lock and unlock to your door locks, and that is your burnout button. Moving up to the wheel, pretty simple stuff from Hyundai, keeps it easy to understand, which I appreciate. All of your infotainment controls are here. Mode will cycle through AM, FM, XM, Bluetooth, Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, all that stuff. Track up and down or station up and down. Volume, voice commands for the car, and answer or hang up your phone calls there. This side is your cruise control controls and your center gauge cluster display control. So for the cruise control, on and off, speed up and down, pause and resume, and your lane keep there. For your center gauge cluster, this goes through mode, or this goes through pages, and this is up and down on the menus. So let's dive in up here. Nice, simple gauge cluster. I appreciate that Hyundai made these easy to understand and just like crisp. They didn't overclutter them. As you change your drive modes, you'll notice the gauges themselves will change to reflect it. And if you hold down, you have a secret fourth drive mode called Eco Plus, which when the weather is nicer out and not a billion degrees, it takes most of the power away from climate control and runs the electric motor as optimally as possible to maximize every last inch of range you can get. But speed is on the left. Battery shown as a bar, that's your battery state of charge, is on the lower left. Total mileage down below that. In the middle, obviously, temperature. That middle bar is your miles per kilowatt hour efficiency rating. And then Gauge on the right shows whether you are expending or regenerating energy, throttle and regen. And speaking of regen, you've got two paddles, left and right. The right paddle, I'm gonna put it in drive really quick. Right paddle will decrease your regen until 0 where you'll coast. The left paddle will increase your regen to its maximum, and if you hold that left paddle in, it'll give you a regen boost to further slow you down more quickly using only regenerative braking, helping you save as many electrons as possible. Speaking of saving electrons, automatic headlights on this one, so you can set them and forget them. They'll kick on and kick off for you depending on the amount of ambient light, or if you're using your head or your windshield wipers, so you are not breaking the law running wipers with no headlights. As you can see on the odometer there, 45,871, so we're coming in just under 46 on the clock for this one. Here you've got their, I think this one is 8 3/4 inch infotainment display, if I'm remembering my numbers right. But I really like that Hyundai kept this particular one simple. You can still change all of these up, but it's a nice, easy to understand, crisp display. So you can change this on the left side, change this on the right side, change your home icons. It's completely configurable, but this is not an overwhelming menu, which is nice. All of your usually used things are as frequent touch buttons here, so you don't have to rely on the touch screen if you don't want to. You've got quick access stuff like EV, which will pull up your actual state of charge, showing what your maximum charge state is for DC or AC charging, so fast charging versus wall charging. And you can even set your time of charging here, because it will then have the vehicle preconditioned for you when you get in it to leave, and you can change when it draws electricity from the grid to take advantage of cheaper off-peak power. Now, under all menus, you've got all the usual stuff. Phone is for your Bluetooth. If I had a phone Bluetooth lined in or USB in, it would show up as media. You have Android Auto and Apple CarPlay on here, which is all line in from that USB port down there. The radio is AM, FM, and XM, and they just keep it nice and easy. If you want to get really nerdy with it, under the setup here, there's a ton of stuff that is personalizable. You can even sync this to your home Wi-Fi to make it easy to control with the Blue Link app, which is Hyundai's own connected vehicle app, or download over-the-air updates when it is at home charging. You can access some climate control stuff through there, but honestly, it's just easier to use actual tactile buttons to do it. So this being an EV, generally set it to auto and let it just get to the temperature you want as quickly and efficiently as possible, and you're good to go. But if you want to take manual control, this is how hot you want it, this is how hard you want it, and these tell it where you want it. You also have defrost front, rear, and steering wheel heat here. A nice thing is, if you're the only occupant, turn driver only on. It flips a baffle in the dashboard and diverts all airflow to just the driver's side, because it is always more electrically efficient to cool you specifically down than trying to cool the car down as a whole. Now, next to that USB, that QI, this is a wireless quick charger down in there. It's got the little grippies to hold your phone in place, and you can shut it to keep your phone from overheating out of the sun. Park, reverse, neutral, and drive. That is your gear selector right there. These have an electric parking brake. And just below that, seat heaters, driver and passenger, with your drive mode switch and auto hold, which will keep you from rolling if you don't want it to creep forward like a traditional gas-powered car. Other than that, got pair of cup holders. They got the little spring-loaded grabbers here to handle multiple sized cups, as you would expect. But more interestingly, I'm going to climb back out again and show you. You've got this cool little pass-through underneath for storing stuff. Again, great for keeping things out of the sun and away from overheating. You've got a standard cigarette lighter style charge port there, and on the passenger side, you've got a USB fast charger. Behind that, standard fare center console, currently full of my crap. Got my nice shirt on, or got my nicer shirt in here so I'm not sweating through it. A couple detailing rags, but you can fit a good deal of stuff in here, and a little coin slot or key tray right there for you. Only other thing of note is this one does have a sunroof, and that means you can do the best desert thing ever. push in so you pop it up to vent and just keep that cracked. For the first 3 or 4 miles you drive, that'll suck all the hot air out of that car. Then push it forward, seal it, and boom. Best way to cool one of these things down in a hurry out here in the desert. But anyway, let's get to driving, shall we? Coming down out of the parking garage, I've got every window and now the sunroof wide open. So if this is going to make any unexpected squeaks, rattles, or clunks, we're going to hear them. It is, however, beeping at me to put my seatbelt on right now, so I guess I'll have to do safety first instead of safety third. But here we go. Now this is an EV. You're going to hear a little bit of whine because that is the federally mandated noise it must make under 20 miles an hour. But I'm going to shut up for about 15 seconds and go down 2 levels. You'll hear my hand on the wheel and the tires on the concrete, but we probably won't hear a whole lot else. And actually, quick break. Nice. Now, what I'm going to do while I wait for them to go, we're going to back ourselves in right here next to pillar 3. Full width backup camera comes on. Guidance lines on these work quite well. And even with the predictive course lines, those little markers on the back are fairly accurate too. Like, you can see the cable stays behind us. That's giving us about 6 to 8 inches from that red line to those cable stays. So a pretty surprisingly good resolution for a little camera on one of these. Let's get ourselves up to speed here on the highway. The punch from an EV, even seeming like, 200 horsepower doesn't seem like that much. In a regular internal combustion car, yeah. But having immediate just torque on demand, it feels like a diesel that never runs out of pull. So getting up onto the highway, getting to your cruising speeds is pretty fun in these EVs, and that's even in eco mode. In a minute here, we're going to do a 0 to 50 to 0 in sport mode to show you, the full accelerative and decelerative prowess of these things. But even just driving it economically, like a normal person, they're really, really fun. I'm going to kick on lane keep, and we're just going to knock on the cruise control. Now, this does not have the adaptive cruise with the following distance. This is traditional cruise control. You used to have to dial in the distance and speed yourself. But Hyundai and Kia have one of the best lane keep systems out there. It takes almost no effort on the wheel just to let it know that you're present, you're paying attention, you're here. And it just goes. Another really nice thing about these being optimized for aerodynamic efficiency, in reducing wind drag, it also reduces turbulence and wind noise. So here's a really quick listen at 78, go straight on up to 80. At 80 miles an hour, like a typical high-speed southwest desert highway cruising speed. Like, for being a big hatchback or a small wagon, they are really remarkably quiet inside. They ride very, very nicely. And even on, some more torn up pavement or up here on the concrete that we're about to get to, they handle it with aplomb. Honestly, if you're bopping around town, you can get away with charging these things like once a week if you have a normal 20 to 30 mile commute. But if you need to go on a bigger road trip, yeah, it's not full self-driving. It's not like our Tesla's ludicrous plus mode. This is like chill mode. It's just, take it easy. I'll get you there. You only have to pay, 60% of the attention you have to. It's a workload minimizer. And yeah, here's concrete. Ribbed concrete. This is some of the noisy stuff you can drive on. they're just good cruisers. Really quick aside, when you pop a phone onto that wireless charger, that will go orange indicating charging, and that will turn green once it is fully charged. All right, so real quick, staged up, mostly abandoned dead-end road here in Tucson, and we're going to do that 0 to 50 to 0, full acceleration and ABS braking test for you all. Show you nothing hiding in the brakes or suspension system, you know, as we go through it. Now, I did another one of these where I hit the burnout button and turned traction control off, boiled the tires to like 50 miles an hour. So we're going to do a normal people acceleration, just sport mode, traction control on. Crack this so you can hear traction control working hard to keep the tires from spinning. And yeah, 3, 2, 1, go. Just scrambling. And 50. Very, very nice. Feel the ABS pulsing as it works those brakes to keep you stopping straight and true. And yeah, these are very confidence-inspiring little vehicles. They can accelerate in a real hurry when you ask them to, and if you need to reel them in, they stop very, very well too. They actually use a mix of the regenerative braking and the friction brakes to slow you down as quickly and stably as possible. Plus, those Cooper Adventurers that we just put on here do a pretty good job of keeping what traction you have. Traction control off. This is the fun, but also the problem with EVs. 35 miles an hour. Just spins them immediately on tip-in. It's hilariously fun to drive, and honestly, these EVs can definitely hurt the feelings of some muscle car people, even from, 10 years ago. So, I'm not saying that you should take your little EV to the drag strip to hurt some, hurt some sports car guys' feelings, but you certainly could, and you'd probably have a really good time doing it. And since life isn't all high-speed highway driving, give you all a little mix of some properly rough road, mid to low speed, urban and residential area driving. Make sure no one's crossing at the Hawk. Yeah, there we go. And we're going to shoot down a little alleyway here. Give you a taste of some of the real rough stuff. So, nasty broken up pavement, manhole cover in the middle here, a couple of speed bumps up ahead. And even over some pretty good craters in the road surface there. As you can hear, big hatchback, so a little bit of body movement, a little bit of echoing, but nothing coming from the suspension. These are pretty composed, and I mean, honestly, 3 years old, less than, almost 4 years old now, less than 50,000 miles, like, it's going to be pretty dialed in. Yeah, for commuting and urban stuff, even on really nasty, broken up, sun-rotted and broken up pavement like this. Does a good job. Nice composed handling, and again, if you need it to, scoots real good to get you, hopefully out of, not into trouble. There you have it, everybody. Back to our yard with the 2022 Hyundai Kona Electric SEL. As you've seen, and as I've said before, and I'll say about a million more times, these are awesome little all-arounders. They are a great EV if you're looking to dip your toe into EV ownership. With about 250 miles, I'd say 220 to 230 realistically down here in the desert, and with our high-speed highways, it gets you more than enough range to tackle what you need to do. It's comfortable, it's got room for you, your friends, and your stuff. And they're just simple and fun to drive. Like, there are more technically impressive EVs out there for sure. There are more tech-heavy ones too. But if you're transitioning to an EV or you just want a simple EV, these are some of the best bets in the market. And to figure out why I feel this way about these and why I like them so much, come on down. Follow the link in the description below or call or text the number that you're about to see on screen to set yourself an appointment and try it out for yourself. Until then though, I've been Dylan. I'll see you soon.